Inauguration just a few days away. Everybody's asking where the market will be. Well, today we'll break it down for you. My name is Paul Barrow. Welcome back into Tech Path. Let's start today with our sponsor, and that is iTrust Capital. If you guys are looking at going into a crypto IRA, check out iTrust Capital. You can use a lot of tokens over there, including altcoins. You can also get into gold and silver over on iTrust. It's a very trusted site, and of course, the cool thing is that when you get in there, there's no monthly fees. You only work off of the trades that you're doing inside of your crypto IRA, which means a good tax position. Always consult your tax people for that, but use our code down below to get $100 off, or $100 in funding, I should say, and get started. Let's go over to a couple of points I want to hit on. I want to lead off with a tweet right here. Donald Trump is to designate a crypto as a national priority, including the consideration of a national Bitcoin stockpile. Now that's the question of whether a Bitcoin stockpile, question mark, is the same as a strategic reserve. Is Trump backing off of this? We don't know yet, but we're going to be watching with bated breath as things start to heat up there in D.C. Another thing that's happening right now around the states is that states have been introducing legislation to get into Bitcoin as a reserve. And of course, this is Wyoming introducing legislation to allow permanent funds to diversify into Bitcoin. And of course, this will change things quite a bit. The first one that actually passes this, I think, will start an absolute domino effect going forward. One other state that's hitting here is breaking news around the state of Massachusetts, who is also getting into a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So good news for all the states. We showed this yesterday, I think, where we showed all the states. Oklahoma was on the list. There was quite a few that have already started to go into this. And of course, Florida is already on the list as well. This was an interesting point to me, and that is SWE has now sponsored Donald Trump's inauguration. So I don't know what, but my understanding is those were like $1 million tickets. So SWE jumping into the political arena, maybe to be considered as an American token, which could open things up, around capital gains for tokens. Everybody's been talking about that as a possibility, especially with his America First theme. We could see some crypto projects that start to play into that. Here's another tweet by Kobeisi. This is talking about the general market in the S&P 500. Best week since November 2024. This was during the Trump's election. So if you think about that and where the S&P right now is, because remember back in November we saw that big initial spike that took us into early December before we started to see the adjustment period in crypto and especially on the stock market. So could we be nearing that same thing with this inauguration pump potential? Everybody's pointing at this because there's going to be a lot of good news coming at the crypto market, especially around regulation, around alignment, maybe a lot of these lawsuits being dropped, and a whole ton of, I think, tokens that are going to be somewhat named around strategies that the U.S. government is going to be playing forward here. You look at the fear and greed, it's getting a little heated right now at 75. When you look at this time last month, we were at 81. So this gets a little bit overheated, but remember, it takes a little bit of a push. Now, if Bitcoin went to 120, could we see 81 again? Yeah, I think that could be a move that could occur. We'll look at the chart at the end just to kind of take a look at where some of these tokens are, because we have had a nice little move here. Here's Terra hitting in on trading activity here in the U.S. A lot of upside on this, lots of activity growing. If you look at the U.S. markets, mostly Coinbase, but if you look at some of the North America versus Asia trading hours, market share, it's interesting because these are kind of the after hours opportunity here that resides in. That, I think, is the one to watch. Look at the U.S., which is that light purple, climbs dramatically here, as you can see it flowing into the beginning of 2025. So this could be that, again, inauguration pump that continues to rise all markets within crypto. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, she of course had a meeting with our new SEC chair, and that is Paul Atkins. So this is good news, maybe in the sense that Atkins is doing a bit of a roundabout there in DC to understand where these senators are positioning. I think most of which Senator Gillibrand and also Senator Lummis have always been in the camp of crypto. So maybe this is a good sign that he'll continue to be a pro-crypto advocate there in the SEC's office, and which could initially start some things pretty quickly as soon as he takes office next week. So big deal. Can you imagine Gary Gensler is going to be out of a job by Monday? That's just, it's happened. It has happened. So pretty cool stuff. The SEC's top lawyer, Megan Barbaro, has also resigned. So listen, guys, we got a lot of people starting. I mean, they are running for the exits at this point, and I think this is only good for crypto in general. Government Bitcoin holdings in 2025, who owns the most? You want to know? Well, here they are. United States leads the pack here at 7.3 billion. Then you got China coming in at 6.7. The UK at 2. Way down, 2.1. Bhutan at 780. There's El Salvador, a small little country, starting to really make the world stage, I think, here when it comes to Bitcoin. So I think this is still not yet fully reported, meaning I think there are some countries out there that have been secretly buying Bitcoin in the shadows, for sure. Let me go to a clip real quick, because this will get into a little bit about where we could see ETF bonds now coming in and hitting the market. Take a look.
Aside from the fact that credit investors in a cap structure they're higher in the cap structure than equity investors. But when I think about a MicroStrategy, and I'm not suggesting they're on the eve of a credit event, but I would almost think that the risk reward here for buying a bond that's linked to a company who could have huge credit exposure because they're wildly levered to the price of Bitcoin isn't a great trade-off of risk reward for a bond that, to me, help us understand also for the investors what the return profile of these bonds is. Are we talking about correlation to Bitcoin returns?
Yeah, so to answer your first question, you have to figure out how do you break these bonds, right? Because there's always a way to break a bond. And right now with MicroStrategy, the value of the total aggregate debt versus their Bitcoin is about 25%. So you would need a decrease of, call it 75% in the price of MicroStrategy, but then they also have a laddered maturity schedule. So they don't have 100% of that debt due in any year. It's due over many years. On the upside, they're designed to give about 75% of the upside of the exposure to MicroStrategy, at least in the issuance of MicroStrategy debt. And then in most reasonable bear scenarios, they'll pay back at par. And so that creates an interesting risk return scenario from like a Sharpe ratio perspective of, yes, it may not return the same as MicroStrategy, but you're getting a good chunk of the upside with limited downside unless everything goes really bad. And if everything goes really bad, then you're not going to do well, whether you're in the equity or Bitcoin or the debt.
All right, so as you can see, there's a lot of instruments being implemented into the market right now because of the interest, I think, on Bitcoin in general. And as we start to heat up into the inauguration and the Trump administration taking office, there's going to be, I think, even more starting to hit the open market, especially in Wall Street. So what they're talking about there is the Bitcoin bonds and how that could play out as a potential investment. Other things that could play out are how stablecoins could also enter the market. Here you've got RLUSD now is live on the Rootnetwork. So this is just another place where you'll be able to use Ripple's stablecoin and be able to hold, buy, and trade over there on the Rootnetwork. If you know much about the Rootnetwork, you've probably covered or followed our show for a little bit. It's another opportunity to get into some of the XRP ecosystem. So check it out if you haven't. It's a good place to kind of go into that area. Ripple X kind of hits on something here, and that is XRP Ledger Lending Protocol. And this is something I was talking about the other day, is as we start to see more instruments, finance instruments coming, at some point, crypto is going to get ready for traditional finance. And what I mean traditional finance is using it as an asset against a loan. And most banks already do this with high quality and level one assets that are out there. Gold mostly, and bonds have been in that area, but securities also, stocks. But I think that we could see crypto starting to play into that. And I think stablecoin, of course, will play a big role in this. Could we see something around what XRP could do in that area? That'll be interesting to watch. Other things that are going on in the market right here, Coinbase Assets talking about a new listing, and this is Toshi. This is an AI agent that was listed. And remember, Brett was, I would say, the leading base token, especially from meme coins. And you see now an AI narrative start to show in there. So could we be seeing an AI narrative coming into listings on some of these major platforms out there, Coinbase being one of those? So keep your eyes open, continue as that AI agent narrative starts to play against the meme coin narrative in this bull run. Remember, everybody's looking for what is the narrative that is going to hit at the right time as we see parabolic moves. That is the factor that this could be showing a little bit of movement on. And then there you've got crypto.com also now live on the derivatives exchange. Toshi also available over there. So that just shows you what I'm getting at, is that we could see more of this starting to show up on a lot of these primary exchanges where people can start to trade these. So be on the lookout for all of that. Of course, if you guys are not in the Diamond Circle, get in right now. We anticipate that the market's probably going to get a little softer right at the inauguration day. I think a lot of people are asking what will happen on Sunday. I think we still pump into Sunday, so be on the lookout. Could we get to about 109? That's kind of the number I'm looking at for Bitcoin as it hovers around 105 today. If you're not in the Diamond Circle, get in right now. Great place to get additional content. There is a link down there that will get you to our Telegram group, which is our free Telegram group for Diamond Circle members. Use it. Check it out. Or follow me out there on X, @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.